Hey there, and welcome. You know that feeling when you've written something pretty good, but it just doesn't sound, well, academic? Today, we're going to fix that. We are going to take your everyday writing and transform it into powerful, persuasive prose that really makes people listen. Let's dive in. Sound familiar? I think we've all been there, right? Trying to get through some super dense article and your eyes just start to glaze over. It's a really common feeling, and it points to a specific style of writing that can feel, well, impossible to get into from the outside.
And let's be honest, sometimes that feeling hits a little closer to home. You read back your own draft and you just think, oof, this sounds like I'm just chatting with a friend, not making a serious, credible argument. If that's you, don't worry, you are in exactly the right place.
So our first mission is to go from casual to credible. And look, this isn't about completely changing who you are as a writer. It's about adding a powerful new tool to your belt. Okay, first things first, let's bust a huge myth. Academic writing is not about using big, complicated words just to sound smart. Not at all. The real goal here is precision. It's about choosing the exact right words to make your ideas clear, objective, and totally credible.
So how in the world do we get that kind of precision? Well, I'm glad you asked. It all comes down to a simple academic toolkit, and really there are just two main tools that can absolutely elevate any piece of writing.
The foundation of our whole toolkit is understanding this one concept, the academic register. The best way to think of it is like a code or a specific dialect. It's the style you switch into for scholarly conversation. And its purpose isn't to be difficult or confusing. It's to make sure your work is crystal clear, objective, and credible to an audience of your peers. So, tool number one is all about your word choice. It's about consciously looking at your writing and swapping out those everyday, casual words for their more formal, more precise counterparts. So instead of saying something is kind of boring, you might say it's perceived as tedious. Can you feel that difference? One is just a vague feeling, but the other, that's a specific observation.
And our second tool is just as important, logical connectors. Honestly, think of these words as the glue that holds your entire argument together. They build the structure, they guide your reader, and they make everything flow smoothly from one point to the next.
And the best part? You do not need to memorize a list of 100 different words. You just need to get comfortable with these 5 families of connectors. Once you master words like however to show a contrast, or as a result to show a consequence, you have all the building blocks you need for a really sophisticated argument.
All right, enough theory. That's the what and the why. Now let's see the how. We're going to take some regular, casual sentences and give them a complete academic makeover. This is the fun part. Okay, so here's our starting point. It's clear, yeah, but it sounds super informal. It uses phrases like kind of boring and help people know. It gets the basic point across, but it doesn't have any real authority or precision. So let's bring out our toolkit. And boom, check out the difference. It's night and day, right? The tone is instantly more credible. And those connectors we talked about, like however and because, create this really clear, logical flow. We're saying the same basic thing, but now it has some serious authority.
So how did we pull that off? Let's break it down. Instead of that vague phrase, kind of boring, we use the more objective, perceived as tedious. Instead of help people know, we use the much stronger, more formal, ensure transparent documentation. Even a simple word like also gets an upgrade to moreover, which links the ideas in a much more formal way. Each tiny swap adds up to create this massive overall impact.
Let's try another one. This time, we're describing things like science blogs or podcasts. And again, the message is perfectly fine. We get it. But phrases like don't like them and fun to read are just way too casual for any kind of formal analysis.
And here's the after. You can see how the formal version handles nuance so much better. A vague phrase like don't like them becomes the more specific, specialists often criticize them. And using a connector like as a result lets us connect cause and effect with real academic power.
Let's deconstruct this one more time because this is so important. We're not just swapping words for the sake of it. We are upgrading the meaning. Fun to read becomes engaging and accessible, which is a much more analytical way to put it. And people get the wrong idea transforms into the far more precise and professional misconceptions may arise. You see, every swap adds a layer of sophistication. So, we've seen how to do it, but let's just take a second to really nail down the why. Why does mastering this academic voice even matter? I promise you, it's about way more than just getting a good grade on a paper.
It is about powerful and effective communication.
So really, why does this all matter? Well, because clear communication is the absolute foundation of credibility. When your writing is precise, when it's structured, your audience doesn't have to work to figure out what you mean. That builds trust, and that trust allows you to step into the professional conversation, and it ensures that your brilliant ideas aren't just heard, they are taken seriously.
Now, this isn't about just following a bunch of rigid rules. It's about starting a conscious process. You're developing a new skill, a new tool in your communication arsenal, a voice you can pull out anytime you need to speak with real power and authority.
So here is a simple 4-step action plan you can use literally today. First, just go through your writing and identify the casual words. Second, swap them out for more precise alternatives. Third, connect your ideas using those logical connector families to build a stronger argument. And finally, step 4, review your whole piece to make sure that credible, authoritative tone is consistent all the way through.
So, I will leave you with this final thought. What is one informal phrase that you tend to use that you can transform today? Just think about it. The journey to a powerful academic voice, it really does begin with changing just a single word.